So based on this given formula for the area of a triangle, and do you guys remember when we entered like distance formula and all that stuff? Okay, so instead of x's and y's, what did we use? H's and k's. So we're going to do the same thing here. So if we assume that our x's are h's and our y's are k's, and we can do the same thing up here. So h and k. And so here's how we'll enter this into our calculators and create a function that will allow us to solve for the area of a triangle given 3 sets of coordinates. Right. In your calculator, the first thing we need to do is tell it that we're going to define a function. So we use the define command. That's located in the F4 tab. And it's the very first one. Okay, so I'm going to go F4 and choose define. Okay, step 2 in this is we're going to give it a name. So I'm going to call this a trie. Okay, again, pick a name that makes sense to what it's finding. It's the area of a triangle. So a trie should allow you to identify what you're looking at. Okay, so if I type in a trie, remember you can alpha lock it and then just type your keys, the easiest thing. What's the next step in entering a function? Does anybody recall? Parentheses and? Good. Order of inputs. So you're going to enter in the h and k values in the order that you want it to input. Now the easiest thing to do is just to go all the first coordinates, then all the second coordinates, then all the third coordinates. So I'm going to say h1, k1, h2, k2, h3, k3. So that's the order of the inputs. That I'm going to choose. Okay. So again, we put that in parentheses. And then we just type it in, h1, k1, h2, k2, h3, k3. Close it off. All right, once we identify the order of our inputs, we're ready for the last step, which is our equation. So we're going to set it equal to. And now we're going to use and type in our equation. So here's the equation. The way they give this is they give it as plus or minus. Okay? But then they tell you that that plus or minus symbol indicates the appropriate sign is chosen to make sure you have a positive value. What else do we have that allows us to do that? What else could replace kind of that plus or minus, Henry? Perfect. So we're going to use absolute value here because we don't want there to be anything that we have to do by hand. We want the calculator to take care of it. So what we're going to do is, so I'm going to write my equation down here. So we're going to enter the absolute value of this whole thing. So do you guys recall where that is located? So again, you can alpha lock and just call it ABS. That's the abbreviation for it. Again, it's located in this math catalog. So you can also say second 5, and it's under number. So it's the very first set down to ABS. Okay, so we're going to put this whole thing into absolute values. Okay, so we're going to take the absolute value, and then inside we're going to put our 1/2. I'm just going to call it decimal, so 0.5 times. And now we're going to multiply this by the discriminant. Again, the vertical bars without the brackets on them represent the discriminant of a matrix. And so from this, again, you can go to the math catalog. Underneath matrix, choose, or not discriminant, the determinant. So we choose the determinant. And now we're going to enter our whole set of matrices. So we're going to go bracket, and then as we move across the top row, H1, K1, 1. Move down to the second row, H2, K2, 1. Move down to the third row, H3, K3, 1, and then close off our brackets. Okay, so again, I'll talk through that again as I enter it here, but we have H1, K1, 1. Oops. So H1, K1, 1, semicolon. H2, K2, 1, semicolon, followed by H3, K3, 1, close off our brackets. Okay, now, assuming you've done all of this, right, and it's time intensive on this front end of it, right, hit enter and it should say, oops, done. Oops. Oh, yeah, thank you. Your brackets go inside the parentheses, so you're going to close it off with the parentheses. Thank you. Yeah, you have 1 for the determinant, and then 1 for the absolute value. All right, now, again, assuming that, again, accessing your user-defined functions is second function, and then var link, the subtraction key. The area of the triangle, a trie is right below. Enter your points, -3, -1, 2, 0, 2, -4. And you should get an area of 10. And again, area is a two-dimensional measurement. If they ask you to label units, and for the most part, you'll just need to enter your numbers.